When a certain 16-year-old Ansu Fati broke onto the scene in 2019, becoming the second youngest debutant for Barcelona in 78 years, it seemed as though the Catalans had unearthed another gem, the rightful heir to the great Lionel Messi. He was good. No, he was brilliant. Exceptional, and he captured the imagination of not only Barcelona fans, but also Spain as a whole. After all, he would choose them over Guinea-Bissau, his country of birth. For the Blaugrana, he was the only bright spark in an otherwise gloomy period at the club. He broke numerous records in his debut season, and everyone knew he was destined for the top. Fast forward to 3 years later, and that has not happened yet. In fact, there are reports that the club could consider moving him during the summer. So, what exactly is happening to the once shining teenager dubbed the new Messi? Can we roll it back a little? Fati made a name for himself as a supreme dribbler that could play in any position in the attack due to his size, speed, and near-perfect control. He grew and developed at the academy, and in July 2019, he signed his first professional contract and his star continued shining. 1 month later, he was handed his debut by Ernest Valverde in a match against Real Betis, making him the second youngest debutant for the club in 78 years. 6 days later, he scored his first goal against Osasuna, becoming Barca's youngest goal scorer in history, aged 16 years and 10 months. He wasn't done yet, as a couple of months later, he became the youngest player in La Liga history to score and assist in the same match. He was flourishing in a side that had the likes of Lionel Messi, Antoine Griezmann, Luis Suarez, and Ousmane Dembele. He would still claim one more record that season, becoming the youngest goal scorer in Champions League history. At the end of his first season with the senior team, he took home a good report: 33 appearances, 8 goals and 1 assist, and countless memories. What an incredible story! His strong start to life at Barcelona was, however, rudely interrupted in November 2020, ironically in a match against Real Betis, the team against whom Fati made his debut. Half an hour into the match, Fati was fouled inside the box. He won a penalty, but lost far more than that. His knee turned sharply in the tackle, and it completely turned his career. He had ruptured the inner meniscus in his left knee. It was the start of a troubled, injury-filled 2 years. An injury that was supposed to require 3 to 5 months of rehabilitation turned into a 9-month layoff. He went from requiring a simple surgery to a complicated phase that required removing a part of his meniscus that caused the injury to reoccur. In total, he underwent 4 surgeries in just 6 months. Now, the most frustrating thing, as documented by The Athletic, would be that after his first surgery, the club's medical staff went against the specialist who was overseeing his surgery by having Fati take up 2 recovery sessions in a day instead of 1. The inflammation on his knee that necessitated a second surgery, which led to a third and a fourth, may have done permanent damage to his knee. And on September 26, 2021, almost a year after he suffered the injury, he returned to the Barcelona squad, and he did so in style, scoring the last goal in a 3-0 rout of Levante. Finally, he had returned. Fati and Barcelona fans' joy was, however, short-lived, as the striker played just 6 games, and just over a month later, he picked another injury against Celta Vigo, meaning 2 more months on the sidelines. He returned for the semi-finals of the Supercopa de España against Real Madrid in January 2022, and it took him just 17 minutes to score. However, a month later against Athletic Bilbao, he suffered a hamstring injury. The club wanted him to undergo surgery, but he refused, and wanted to take a more conventional treatment rather than go under the knife again. Will you blame him? The kid had undergone 4 operations a few months before, and this was traumatizing enough. However, this decision could have a long-lasting impact on his career, as his game has dropped off since then. He has since lost the attacking spark he once possessed. Whether that's because of psychological issues or because of his different physique, Fati does not seem to be the same player that Barcelona and Spain fans fell in love with. His role within the Barcelona team has diminished, as he does not seem to convince Xavi. The injuries seem to have taken a toll on him and affected his overall play. He does not seem to dribble much anymore, more like he has lost confidence in his body and is always careful to avoid any sort of heavy physical contact with opponents. His decision-making, the runs, commitment to the play, you can tell the injuries have subconsciously affected him, and despite having recovered physically, he is not yet there psychologically. He has started just 10 10 games in La Liga so far this season, with not-so-encouraging numbers. His take-ons have reduced, and so have his drive-ons into the penalty area, which made him so lethal before his injury. You can't blame him, though. He has undergone a lot at a young age, and that can have far-reaching psychological effects. His situation has been replicated internationally. Once one of the great hopes of the Spanish national team, he now cuts a peripheral figure. He was part of the Spain team that featured at the Qatar World Cup, and whenever he got the chance to play, he was unable to change the dynamics of the game, as Spain almost always looked destined for defeat. It does not come as a surprise, then, to say his future in Barcelona is uncertain. His current contract runs until June 2027, even though there's rumors that the club was willing to listen to offers that could meet their €100 million valuation. He has, however, made it clear to his father Borri and agent Jorge Mendes that he is not considering leaving Barcelona and wants to fight for his place in the team again. Borri and Mendes have conflicting opinions, as they reportedly would want to see Fati move elsewhere, where he can get more playing time, as that's what might help him rediscover his confidence. Manchester United is one of the many Premier League clubs interested in the 20-year-old. Along with Newcastle, Pep Guardiola and Manchester City are also said to be interested in the youngster. All that could easily and quickly go through the window, though, if he manages to gain his confidence and trust under Xavi. What we know, though, is that horrific injuries coupled with poor rehabilitation from the club's medical team have dimmed an extremely bright star, whose light could have lit the world for a long time. Can he fully recover and hit the levels that saw him rise to the top of the world? Only time will tell.